Ladies and gentlemen, so from the perspective of a beginner, Marvel Contest of Champions can seem like a massive game, and to a certain extent, man, it's been out 4 years, there is so much content in the game, there are almost 130 odd characters now, there is a lot to Marvel Contest of Champions, and sometimes, as a new player, man, this can be a little bit overwhelming. The game is trying to drag you in like 15 different directions. You've got the story quest, event quest, additional event stuff, arena, alliance quest, alliance war, just alliance events in general. There's so much stuff that you don't really or might get lost on exactly what to focus on. So today I wanted to do a video, 20 pro tips for beginners for 2018. We've done 2 videos in the past, but I haven't done one in a year and a bit, so I wanted to get out all that updated information and just remind people of the essential mistakes not to make as a beginner, because there are some mistakes that you can make that can really gimp over your roster, and I see new players, man, making them on a weekly basis. So I like to kind of dish out this information, keep it as fresh as we possibly can. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started, because we have a lot of information to share. It's going to be a massive knowledge dump today. But anyway, first off, we're going to go over the 2 golden rules of Marvel Contest of Champions, which any savvy MCOC vet will tell you are the 2 biggest rules of the game. And the number 1 is don't ever sell any of your champions, under no circumstance at all, because getting a duplicate of that character is going to give you shards for the tier above, and also ISO, and as you duplicate and get more copies of that character, it's going to become one of the main sources for leveling your champions, because once you get to a state where you've got all of the characters at like 2-star or 3-star, then you are just reigning in ISO, which is essentially experience to level up characters, and it's really, really big. And once you get even more duplicates on that character and get it to max level, you get even more character shards. So yeah, basically this game is set up to build a very big roster and collection, and don't ever sell your champions, because it's a very, very bad idea. You're just going to gimp yourself in terms of more characters and also leveling resource in the long run. So that is the first golden rule. Do not ever sell any champions. And the second one is do not ever spend any units on crystals, especially when it comes to the featured ones, the premium ones, and generally like 99.9% of crystals that pop up are absolutely terrible value, because you can get so many crystals, premiums, guaranteed ones for like 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, and 6-star champions on a monthly basis, especially when you get into the game a little bit more, but you know, the deeper you get into the game, the higher star crystals are on offer. But essentially the point is that these crystals are absolutely terrible value and a complete waste of your units, and instead you want to be focusing your units ideally on your mastery setup, because there are some essential masteries like parry and dexterity, which we're going to talk about in a bit, but also some more masteries that increase your crit chance, crit damage, that can have an insane impact on your character's average damage output, which are absolutely ridiculous. So masteries are very, very important, and you want to use your units on those and not on these terrible crystals, which you can get a bunch of arguably better ones free on a monthly basis, providing you're doing the right stuff in the game. So the second thing that you might want to use your units on, kind of after masteries, is kind of saving for energy refills. They're like not a bad way to spend units. Like if you're dropping money on the game and you want to progress as quickly as possible, energy refills are arguably one of the best purchases to get a bit of a head start there. But yeah, just don't spend the units on crystals. And then finally, you know, if you've got all the masteries, all the energy refills, you want to look at building a stash for endgame content. So stuff like Act 4, Realm of Legends, Act 5, Labyrinth of Legends, and a lot more stuff that kind of comes in the future of the game. So yeah, essentially it's always a good idea to save your units for masteries, energy refills, and tough endgame content with really, really big rewards, because that'll be the best investment there. And then going back to dexterity and parry, which we were talking about a little bit earlier. So these are 2 masteries which are absolutely essential to the combat of Marvel Contest of Champions. So they can be found in the utility tree, and you want to focus on trying to unlock both of them as quickly as you possibly can. And if you do not spend your units on the crystals, then you can unlock both of them within the first few days of playing. So they can be found here. This is parry. So what parry does essentially is timing a block right when the opponent attacks into you, reduces the damage taken by that attack, but also stuns them, allowing you an interval to kind of retaliate. And this is absolutely crazy. As if you watch, any endgame MCOC videos, you're going to see a lot of parrying there. It is just such an insanely powerful mastery once you learn how to use it. And dexterity is swiping back while anything is coming at you, so a melee attack, a projectile, allows you to completely dodge and evade that attack, and this is absolutely essential for dealing with projectile-based stuff, so like Spider-Man's webbing, for example, or Cyclops' beam, or Iron Man's blast. There are so many projectiles in the game that with dexterity you can easily just swipe back and avoid, take no damage, but also you take no damage, but you also gain an interval to attack back into the opponent if you're quick enough as well. But essentially parry and dexterity is so valuable, they're absolutely essential, and a YouTuber that has great tutorials on how to use both of these masteries is a YouTuber called Dork Lessons. He's got a video called How to Parry and How to Evade, and evade is kind of another term in the community for dexterity as well, so type in How to Parry, How to Evade Dork Lessons, or just watch his training playlist on his channel, and yeah, that's some great videos on how to actually use these masteries to their full effect. And the next thing we have is kind of about the average champion combo. So the average champion combo has 5 hits before the opponent has an opening to retaliate. So a lot of beginners will use the medium, which is kind of a swipe right and then quadruple light, but you'll want to try and get used to using a medium, triple light, medium, and combos either end after the 4th light attack or the 2nd medium. And just to refresh you if you forgot the tutorial, a light attack is a tap on the screen and a medium is a swipe right on the screen. Also, in terms of your attacks, you also have heavies as well, which is the swipe up. However, heavy attacks are rarely / never used for the majority of champions and fights in the early game, so just focus on kind of mastering the 5 combo. And again, it's a medium, triple light, medium ideally that you want to do, but the combo, it takes a lot of while getting used to, but it's one of those things that you'll pick up just watching a lot of MCOC videos on YouTube and kind of playing the game for yourself eventually. And the next tip we have, so we're on tip number 6 at the moment, which is just something a question I see a lot from beginners, and this is champions cannot be upgraded from a star rating to another. So this essentially means if you've got a 2-star Wolverine, you cannot upgrade that 2-star Wolverine to a 3-star Wolverine, for example. You'll need to pull a copy of the 3-star Wolverine from another crystal. So you can't upgrade champions from 1 star. A 2-star Wolverine is always going to be a 2-star Wolverine, but the higher star champion, the higher the possible power level of that character can go. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And certain champions, when they get to 5-star and 6-star, have like additional abilities that kind of come in as a result of them being 5-star or 6-star champions, but really that's nothing too much you need to worry about for beginners. However, next up we have how to kind of focus your energy. So in terms of energy, it's always a good idea to focus on kind of monthly events, which can be found on under the event quest. Generally it's toward the left hand side here, and it's something along the lines of this month we have the event quest Blood and Venom Symbiomancer, but the rewards here, because these events are only available for kind of a 4 to 6 week period usually, are temporary, whereas all of the stuff in the story quest is permanent content. It's going to be there forever, so it's always a good idea to push as high as you possibly can in these events to get the rewards that are only available for a limited amount of time. So the general rules are there's not really much need in terms of the difficulties to explore beginner, but it's generally for a new player a good idea to do the completion of it, just for the premium stuff and also the units as well. In terms of normal, if you can do that, try and do it 100% if the 3-star character is still relevant to you for exploring it, and also you need stuff like the tier 1 alpha. This month it's Guillotine, who's a pretty sick character there, but yeah, normal for a lot of beginners can be worth it for the first couple of months, and then once you can push onto heroic, you want to get the completion sorted for that every single month, and also try and do the exploration 100% as well, and then just keep on pushing up and try and get the master done, and also get that on farm 100%, but that'll take a little bit longer than the heroic one. But generally the rule is if you can do act 2 you can do normal 100%, if you can do act 3 you can do heroic 100%, if you can do act 4 you can do master roster 100%. Right, and what do we have next? Tip number 8, which is Arena, Arena, Arena. So if you're looking to expand your roster and gain stacks of gold and units, this is just something you should be throwing your champions at as often as possible. So you kind of, you know, when it comes to arena, start with the low arenas. Unfortunately, Sunday is the day off, but Summoner Trials is the one to have a little bit of a look at and just pour as many champions as you can, kind of reset them off every single cooldown. Every 2 hours you can chuck your champions in here again, and just kind of initially getting to that threshold in this one is going to give you like premium shards, 3-star, so you're going to be able to like gradually farm those rewards, and getting to the milestones is going to give you more premium hero crystal shards. You're going to get units, you're going to get battle chips, you're going to get gold. So by doing arena, you're essentially getting a lot of resources, because you're not only getting more characters, you're getting the units as well to unlock more masteries, and the gold to level them up, and also the battle chips. You can purchase arena crystals, which can give you more units, more gold, and also the chance to get a 3-star or 4-star version of Punisher, who is quite fun to play, man. He's got some good damage there. And also, one of the advantages of being a brand new player is something known as the beginner bracket. So for the first like 0 to 30 days of playing, you're only going to be facing off in arena against people who are playing for the first 0 to 30 days. So it becomes significantly more manageable once you get to the higher star arenas. If you can unlock some 3-star and 4-star champions, you can go for what is known as the 4-star basic character. So yeah, if you can hit the ground running in Marvel Contest of Champions and really get ahead on your first month, and just kind of farm all the arenas, farm all the rewards, go really, really hard, you can clean up when it comes to stuff like the 4-star basic arena, and maybe get some pretty sick characters, man. There have been so many great characters added to the game in the last year and a bit, so getting a lot of 4-star basic champions could be the characters to take you very, very far in this game, all the way up to potentially like Act 5 100%, because yeah, like at the moment we've got Corvus Glaive, who's absolutely insane in arena, but a lot more really, really good characters coming in the next few months as well. And then for the 30 to 60 days, it's the intermediate bracket, which is, again, you're just facing people in that have been playing for the 30 to 60 day bracket there, and then after 60 days you're a little bit screwed because you're playing against everybody else that's been in the game. However, one of the really good things is the 4-star basic arena. It's relatively easy to get a lot of characters just because there are so many people that can get it. It's the top 10%, which usually is about 15,000 people at the moment. So yeah, you know, the scores do vary and they become a little bit more manageable, but it's much, much easier to get characters in your first 60 days of playing when you're playing an arena. So yeah, take advantage of it if you want that bit of a head start and boost there as well. And the next one, we have tip number 10. So we've got join an active alliance. So what I mean by that is when you're looking on the Alliance search feature or looking in global chat, you want to make sure at least 20 players have been online in the last 24 hours. And if you go to the Alliance tab, you can have a little bit of a look at members and it'll tell you, you know, when people are online, but just make sure at least 20 out of 30 members were active in the last 24 hours, because then joining an Alliance opens up a few things: Alliance Quest, Alliance War, and these are modes of gameplay where you can get additional rewards. Alliance Quest mainly for stuff like rank up resources, and Alliance War mainly for like character shards. But you're also going to have the wonderful Alliance Events tab, and there's generally some pretty easy stuff like spend loyalty or win arena, or just really straightforward tasks that especially the 3-day events can give you stuff like premium crystals, 4-star crystal shards. So there's a really good chunk of rewards and resources from doing stuff like Alliance events. So there's a lot of stuff that comes from being an Alliance, but just make sure you're in an active one, so that you're not, you know, trying to complete all of the Alliance events by yourself, or you're not going to get very far there. And then what else do we have? Tip number 11, which is always try and make use of your energy. So your energy, you need it for so much different stuff. You need it for event quest, story quest, farming like catalyst to upgrade characters. So ideally, if you're looking to be a smart and savvy player, you always want to make sure you're using it to its maximum potential. And energy regenerates at a rate of 1 energy every 6 minutes, which means every hour you get 10 energy, and every 24 hours you're going to get 240 energy to use. But you need to make sure that you use it when you have it, because it does not have any overflow, and as you level up, the energy cap is just going to go up and up and up, but as a new player, it's going to kind of, you know, try and get you to log in every 3 and 4 hours, and if you want to progress efficiently, if you want to get ahead, make sure, you know, you log in every 3-4 hours just to quickly burn up your energy and move forward as quickly as you possibly can. So yeah, that is a pretty big tip there, which seemed fairly obvious to me, but I see new players, man, not making use of their energy there. And then we have tip number 12, which is ideally as well, log in every day for the calendars. So generally we have anywhere between 2 and 3 calendars active at any one time, and calendars, especially when it gets toward the end of the month, can give some very valuable resources. And we're talking about like if we have a look at this October calendar, for example, day 25, we got an Infinity War Iron Man crystal, guarantees a 3-star with a chance at a 4-star one, and then we've also got kind of like end game rank up resources like a tier 4 basic, we got 40 units, a tier 4 class catalyst, and then the final days all have 5-star shards. But also logging in every day, you can see there's loads of stuff like gold crystals, energy refills, single revives, team revives, even more shard crystals. So there's just a lot of valuable stuff in the logging calendars, and it pays off if you can log in every single day. And also as a brand new player, there is, like, for the first 7 days, like a really good calendar if you can make it, and I think it gives you like 200 units on the final day. So yeah, that one's very good to not miss out on your first 7 days of playing. So yeah, just keep that in mind as well. And then what else do we have? So the next thing, tip number 13, which is have a look at the champion tier list. So every single month I do this thing called Seatin's tier list, which was where I put up a tier list of the best champions to the worst champions on a bit of a comparative spectrum, because the power level and effectiveness of champions vary so much in this game. There are some characters that are absolutely crazy, like have so much they can do, just have insane abilities, and there are characters that do pretty much nothing. So it's a good idea to have a look at the champion tier list just to get kind of a rough idea of what characters in your roster might be very valuable. But again, Marvel Contest of Champions, as you will learn, is a very complicated game. There are a lot of characters, a lot of matchups, so just use it for what it is, a rough guide. But if you type into YouTube Seatin's tier list, and then whatever month it is and whatever year it is, then the most updated version will come up, because that's something we try to update on a monthly basis. But a link to the most updated tier list will be in the comment section below if you want to check that one out. And then we have tip number 14, which is learn how to bait special attacks. So Dork Lessons has a really good video specifically on how to bait special attacks, but also you can kind of pick this up by watching a lot of MCOC YouTuber gameplay videos and streams. And baiting special attacks is essentially figuring out how to get your opponent to use special attacks so that you can kind of drain their power, and also find intervals to play around and weave in their special attacks as well. So that's a pretty important fundamental of combat that you should definitely look up how to do, and put that on the to-do list there. Number 15 is kind of keep in mind that there are counters to pretty much everything in the game. So if you see stuff like a really powerful regeneration, keep in mind that there are many champions that kind of block or reverse healing. If there's like insane power gain, there are champions that can like lock or reverse power or drain it. If you're fighting like a Spider-Man and he's evading all over the place, there are characters that have mechanics like True Strike or ability accuracy reduction that can completely remove the ability to evade. If you go into a scenario where you're getting bled or poisoned a lot, there are bleed immune, poison immune champions. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind that a lot of the characters have a lot of different abilities in this game, and it's incredibly complicated, the amount of stuff that is in there. But there are many counters for many problems in this game, so it's just something to keep in mind. And if you are ever stuck, be sure to use YouTube, Reddit, or Google to figure out how to maybe bypass the certain challenge that you're on. There is so much information out there already, and there's so much information being pumped out there on a single daily basis. And if you can't find maybe the answer to your question, like going on to YouTubers live streams, if you go to Marvel Contest of Champions on YouTube and then just look for who's live, it's a good place to ask a lot of questions, but also Reddit is as well. So the Marvel Contest of Champions subreddit or live streams are generally some pretty good places to ask questions there. Also, another thing to Ideally pay good attention to is something known as solo events. So when you are in the beginner bracket, these actually arguably have slightly better rewards than when you get past your first 60 days of playing. So if you can hit like every single milestone on these events, and again they are less and much easier to do in the beginner bracket, the ranked rewards actually turn out to be stuff like a 3-star awakening gem, which if you can get that can be really, really valuable if you pull like a gold tier or really high value 3-star champion. So yeah, just pay close attention to kind of what solo events are going on, because there'll be stuff like use this specific character class, or like level up champions of a certain class, or just level up or do a lot of fights or do a lot of arena. And if you can get those milestones, you can get stuff like units and just kind of valuable upgrade resources there. So it's always a good idea if you're logging in to have a little bit of a look at the solo and alliance events to see if you can, you know, maybe shift around a few characters to make sure that you're hitting those requirements and getting the additional bonus rewards there. Always a good thing to kind of keep in mind there. And the next tip number 18, is we have start focusing on building your 3-star and 4-star roster as soon as possible. So as soon as you start getting 3 or 4-star champions, just drop the 2-star ones and focus on them as much as possible. It's generally worth upgrading every 4-star champion to at least rank 3 level 30 in order for stuff like the 4-star basic arena, because those characters are just great for getting something known as an infinite streak. And if you want to know what an infinite streak is an arena, I definitely look up a few YouTube videos on it. It's essentially like getting to a certain power level on champions so that you can just consistently keep on playing and playing again without having to reset your streak there. So that is something also maybe to note down as well. But yeah, start focusing on building your 3-star and 4-star roster ASAP. And generally, if you once you start collecting a few 4-star champions, you don't really need to worry about the 3-star ones so much, just because it's never been easier than it is now to get like a load of 4-star characters. So I would say you probably only want to look at 3-star characters if they're kind of like amazing to low demigod tier plus 3-star champions. They might be worth upgrading if you don't have better 4-stars, but it's always worth if you've, you know, got some really high value 4-star characters early on, just to fully focus on those champions and upgrade them as much as possible over any 3-star champions. So yeah, that's a bit of a tip there in terms of roster building. And tip number 19 we have is try and do the daily proving grounds medium 100% every day. So one of the things that is commonly required as a newer player is a lot of these tier 2 class catalysts. So every single different day it's going to be like a different class catalyst, and then on Sunday there's like a free-for-all. But yeah, you're always going to need a lot of these as a new player to upgrade 3-star and 4-star champions, so it's a good idea to focus as much as you can on the medium difficulty of them, and try and get to the cap and keep 6 of every one, because you are going to use them quite quickly. And I wouldn't worry too much about the tier 3 version of this daily quest, because the drop rates on it are absolutely terrible, and there are alternate ways, such as the solo events and certain alliance events, to get tier 3 class catalysts, although they can be a little bit of a pain in the ass to obtain. I think in the beginner bracket, but yeah, just mainly focus on keeping that fully maxed out stack of tier 2 ones, because you are going to need quite a lot of them. And tip number 20 we have is, if you wish to spend money, you'll gain the most benefit by spending it immediately, as it will give you the advantage in the earlier beginner brackets, which, as you know, we mentioned earlier, you can use to kind of rocket yourself and get some maybe quite big rewards in terms of 4-star characters from Arena. So pretty much all of the brand new 14-day offers are worth it for a beginner. So when you first start your account, you're going to see offers for like a 2-star, a 3-star Deadpool, and also a premium bundle. All of those offers, in comparison to all the other offers, are pretty decent. They're okay, but bearing in mind, nothing in a mobile game is like super insane, but those ones are alright to pick up, and it's the only time you can pick up the red suit Deadpool. Aside from that, you just don't want to buy premium or featured crystals. Drop rates are awful, and if you do want to spend units, you might want to spend them on energy refills, or wait for a quote-unquote good offer that appears to guarantee something of value to your roster. And if you're always wondering about kind of insights on offers, there tends to be quite a few videos and tutorials of thoughts on certain offers when it comes to YouTubers. So yeah, it's always a good idea, if you're a little bit unsure, but it's very, very rare that there are super decent offers nowadays in Marvel Contest of Champions. So just keep that one in mind. And we have a final 2 questions. So we've got the fastest way to level up, and it's essentially get to Act 4. Get to Act 4 as soon as you possibly can. Act 4 has insane experience, and if you combine completing it with like an XP boost or going for 100% and use a few energy refills to kind of recharge and save them for that point, you can level up very, very fast. There is so much XP in Act 4 in comparison to everything else in the game. That's where the big stacks of XP are. So if you're worried about leveling for mastery points, that is the way to go about it. But level, it doesn't dictate how good of a player you are and what characters you have, so there's no real correlation between like the level you're at and the progress that you should be at in Marvel Contest of Champions. That's just a tip for the people who want to level up and get a higher energy cap and more mastery points there. But yeah, you got to get to Act 4 ASAP and save your XP boost for that, because you can have some insane combos there. And 22 is kind of the big tip for very ambitious new players that want to get the biggest rewards as soon as possible, that have picked up the combat basics, and this is how to get insane rewards. And the biggest tip for kind of progressing players, so to start getting insane rewards on a monthly basis, and start expanding your 5- and 6-star roster, you need to do 4 things. And I did all 4 of these things in the first like 3 and a bit months on my free-to-play account, which I played very, very casually. So step 1 is you've got to master the basics of combat. So that's quite important. So you got to learn how to parry, how to evade, kind of how you know, certain opponents are moving, and how to dodge special attacks, kind of master the basics of combat. The second one is you've got to get a solid team of at least 4-star rank 4 level 40 champions, and number 3 is you've got to get the collector down in Act 5 Chapter 2 and unlock the uncollected title, and number 4 is you've got to clear 100% uncollected every single month in the monthly event quest, and that gives you like an absolutely insane amount of rewards. So again, that one is only for the very, very ambitious players, but that's how you start getting like the really big 5-star and 6-star roster. And if you can train yourself to get good at the game, and if you can make that ambitious stride toward that goal, then that is how you're going to start getting the really, really big rewards. So what is it? This month is the only month where the uncollected title hasn't been required to play that level of difficulty, because currently it's epic, but usually in the place of epic it's something called uncollected, and again, you do need that title in order to do it. But the rewards for doing epic 100% are just absolutely insane. It's pretty much a fully formed 5-star crystal and also a quarter of a 6-star crystal, and 6-star champions start at such a ridiculously high power level. So yeah, if you're looking to get that really, really big roster and kind of start building on it and get the really sick rewards in the game, that is what you want to be gunning for as your longer term goal there. But we also do have a video on the channel called the Progression Path 2018, which kind of details how to progress through the game from like start to finish, and the order in which is best to ideally do stuff. So definitely check out that video as well. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen, 22 tips for beginners. We have dumped so much information today, but hopefully you found it useful, hopefully you enjoyed it as well, and if you did, feel free to smash that like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Aside from that, if you have any more tips that you'd like to send to all beginners, leave them in the comments section below. But thank you very much for watching, take care, hope this video helped you out, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.